Well, Mindy, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate, always meeting. It's good to have people that I've worked with before. It's also wonderful to find new voices and add new people to the directory here of wonderful Get to Know Your Wedding Pro podcast guests. We have Mindy Ricks with Fearfully Made Makeup. Thank you so much for coming on. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Thanks, Reed, for having me on. My name is Mindy Ricks. I am owner of Fearfully Made Makeup. I have been doing makeup for probably about 5 years now. And when I started this business, I pretty much was like, yes, I'm going to just go full board in the middle of a pandemic. I don't understand what I'm going through, like mentally, why I wanted to do that. But it has been extremely successful for me. And I am incredibly blessed for all the support and help that people have given me. I'm a wife and a mother of 2 crazy boys, ages 6 and 4. So I'm a little bit outnumbered at home. I have all boys, so makeup is kind of my way of bringing the girl back into my home, which is a blast. I absolutely love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I was looking at your site. You have your wonderful photo with your husband and kids. You said you moved here in 2012, right? Did I?
Yes.
So where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Idaho. I grew up in North Idaho, probably a good, from when I was about 9 years old. My family got transferred there, my dad's job. And then I decided to just, hey, let's do something fun. I graduated high school. I'm like, I'm going to go to Washington. And I met my husband and we got married a year after, and kind of all that. I mean, it's been fun. I love Washington. I love the communities and everything.
Yeah, I think Washington and Idaho, at least in where you're down south a little bit, I think in terms of the community feeling, I think it's probably a similar, feeling that way. What was your guys' wedding like? I always like to hear if people have got married to their wedding vendors. I want to hear what that was like.
It was nothing like I had originally wanted to do. Very small, intimate ceremony. I didn't pay for like anything. Like I pretty much did it all myself. I did my own makeup, which at that time I really wasn't into the whole makeup game. That it being 8 years ago. So, I mean, that's a while ago. We got married at our church. A very small, intimate ceremony. If I were to redo it, I definitely know now I would hire everybody to do it for me. The stress level went from like here and I would definitely hire somebody to do it for me.
But doing your own makeup and everything certainly puts you in a mindset now where you can remember back and think, well, that was maybe a little more stressful, where now we can try to make that a little easier for the people that are going through that. So
yes, it was very hard. I actually dropped one of my eyeshadow palettes on my dress because I had no idea that I was supposed to wait until, put my makeup on and then put my dress on. So my wedding dress to this day still has like a splotch of makeup on it. I'm like, okay, all right. Always wait until after your hair and makeup is done to put on your wedding dress.
it is funny with that too. We just had this tiny elopement a couple weekends ago, and we were wanting to do. They didn't even have the photographer wasn't even doing getting ready, so I was just there. Yeah, they were going to have her do that, but then like all of her jewelry and everything, like in her nightgown, and I was like, well, no, let's get the dress on. It is the order of events is very important on the wedding day. Hair, and makeup,
absolutely.
Then carefully get the dress on, and then do all the pretty stuff. I'm like, I don't really think we want to do your earrings and I mean, if it's a very important nightgown, then maybe, but that's
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been doing makeup for the last 5 years. What were you into before kind of entering in this crazy wedding world and makeup and all the other stuff?
I actually really didn't have something I connected with. I tried a couple different MLM companies, and I didn't feel like I was in a good community that I wanted to stick around in. A very good friend of mine who lives in Tennessee, she introduced me to a makeup company, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't really do makeup. I don't really do this sort of thing. She, of course, was like persistent and said, Mindy, you are so talented at this. You need to just give it a try. So I did. And she was right. I instantly fell in love. And after the course of about a year and a half, I decided, I loved the confidence that it gave myself when I put it on all the makeup, and it just really built my self-esteem. I know a lot of women are struggling with that, and that's one of my biggest passions, to help them feel that confidence. And so I was like, hey, what the heck? I'm going to go to school for this. So I went to school. It took about a year and a half to complete fully from start to finish. I did some courses this last year to kind of get certified as a makeup artist. And it kind of all went uphill and downhill and swirled around. And then I thought it was going in the toilet, and then it didn't. So, I mean, it's a crazy, busy business, but having that start out really did help me to just have that friend go, you need to do this, and have that trust, say, okay, I'll try it. Why not?
It is interesting, and I think a lot of the vendors that we talk on here, whatever types they are, did a lot of other things until they really found what they wanted to do. And
Yeah.
it is, I can't remember a conversation a week or two ago where, society, it's like when you're 18 or whatever, you got to figure out like, okay, this is what we're doing forever, right? And that's just not how the stages of life work, really. And like, when I was doing news 10 years ago, to think that I would be doing a wedding vendor podcast, you just don't know where it's going to go. And so it is,
right.
What did it feel? You said it was the confidence, from helping the women. What did it feel like for you personally, finding, what you feel like you were finally meant to be doing, and how did you figure that out?
It pretty much hit me like a brick. I helped a couple clients out with some boudoir photography, and I was their hair and makeup, and I could see how nervous they were coming into that. And it just reminded me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like when I put hair in really pretty loose curls and put on a dark smoky eye and a red lip, you can see their confidence go from 0 to 1,000,000. You can see that their inner beauty is actually shining out now, and their confidence grows and builds. That's my favorite part of the job. Even at weddings, they're like, I don't know what I'm really going to do. Even though I do trial runs with the brides, it's still nerve-wracking the day of, because like, I don't know if this is going to turn out the same or that I remember. And just seeing them light up and glow after their hair and makeup is done is all the reason why I'm in this business.
Well, that's the thing too, is, people for their wedding, I mean, most women don't do that much makeup all the time, right? I mean, it is, obviously a wide gamut, but I would say, even like when my wife got married, I mean, she's not a big makeup person, right? And so it's challenging because you want to feel yourself and, look yourself, but you also need to, it's a weird balance there, right? And obviously you know what you're doing, but how do you approach that? And because I do think that's something that a lot of women, not struggle isn't the right word, but it is something that they deal with in planning for their wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of women are like, I just don't wear a lot of makeup, especially the last year with the coronavirus. It's like, you're staying at home. Yeah. There's no reason to put on makeup. I'm not like that. I'm like, I'm going to do my makeup whether I'm going anywhere or not. It helps me get ready for the day and feel confident about myself. Going into the wedding, it's really up to them. Like, do they want to look completely different and glammed out? I can do that. Do they want to keep it as natural as possible? Yeah, I can do that. It's really their preference. A lot of times if a bride is reaching out to me asking if I have availability, I'll get to know them a little bit, be like, hey, what's your favorite color? What are your ideas for your wedding? Like themes and colors. And I can coordinate with that. And going in natural, I love the natural look. It keeps the natural beauty. It just kind of highlights the areas where full glam is, holy crap, she looks beautiful. Like, what? So it's a really good balance. And it's really a case-by-case basis on like what the bride is really going to want for the day.
Is it... And obviously this is a personal, for how everyone tends to do it, but is it tough to balance kind of what is maybe trendy at that moment versus what's going to look good on the person that you're doing, where, you know, maybe someone like, you know, you get all these weird celebrity like haircuts, for example. I know we're talking makeup, but like, you know, then it's like, well, that's really not going to look good. I mean, do you have to balance that with like trends and what would actually be, you know, appealing on someone?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And that's why I tell all of my brides, like, thank you for putting your trust in me and choosing me as your hair and makeup artist. Like, I want them to ultimately get what they want, what the client wants. You know, I will do my entire best to give them what they need. If there is a look that's just like, it's just not flattering on you, I really hope I can be tactful and say, why don't we try this instead? Or, you know, something super simple like that. I don't want to be one to just be like, that looks ugly on you. Like, I really want to be able to, you know, provide them what they're looking for in a tasteful, beautiful way.
Do you ever do any groom stuff? I've had certain grooms that have needed, you know, shiny. I mean, I still have a little
Yep.
bit of hair. I don't have much hair left, but I have enough hair that I don't need to shine yet. Do you have to deal with that too?
Yes, I have done grooms and groomsmen. I have a setting powder that pretty much keeps the shine off. I don't normally do a full makeup look on a groom. At least I haven't yet. But yeah, they'll definitely ask me. I know a lot of the men are shy. They're like, I don't want to wear makeup, but I don't also want to be super shiny for photos and all sweaty and all of that. So I definitely will ask them, be like, hey, I'm here. Do you want me, you know, to put some powder on to keep the shine down? It's not awkward at all. And they are very grateful for that because it also helps them to be a little bit more confident throughout the day, not worrying about what they're looking like.
No, honestly, I think, and it is a weird, you know, obviously it's stereotypical women wear makeup, you know, right, at weddings and people think about that. But like, there's a lot of guys that benefit from that. And we had one, and it was this, I think they were Bosnian, beautiful couple. But he was, you know, very like strong and proud, but he was really bald and really, really shiny. And, you know, and we're out at like Newcastle and the, you know, the sun, and it's like, Fedja, like you gotta knock this down a little bit, you know. And he was so like
Hmm.
resilient, but you know, it's tough, but you know, you have to trust that and know that, you know, we do know what we're talking about, you know, and the makeup
Exactly.
artist.
Yeah. And I've worked with many photographers in our area in Kitsap. And one of the things they tell me a lot is, hey, thank you for pointing out that they needed a little bit less shine because it helps with the photography as well. Like for them to not do so much after editing and all that for them. It's just, it makes it easier for everybody.
Yeah, we don't do a lot with our corporate shoots. We don't do a lot of makeup stuff, but whenever the client has the budget for it, it astounds me how much better, you know,
Yeah.
even just men, you know, no frill, just setting, you know, whatever on them, it looks so much better. And it's a shame that it's just not, you know, not every, we're just not big enough budget that we do a lot of like higher end stuff like
Right.
that. But
Yeah.
it's for that money to pay, you know, like a half day makeup artist to come out and do it.
Hmm.
It is tremendously better.
It is. It really is. And having that as your, what is the word I'm looking for? As just like as you're planning, it's something you should be budgeting. I go by look, I don't go by hours. So all of my prices are pretty much set. So if I'm there for 2 hours or 4 hours, it's based on the look I'm doing. And that helps a lot of brides because like I don't want to have to pay an extra, you know, $200-300 for somebody to come for the entire day. I want to work with people's budgets because I don't want any bride to feel like she can't feel and look her best on her wedding day. When I got married, that was really important to me to have somebody do my hair because at the time I didn't even know what a curling iron was. Like, I was like, I don't know how to use this thing. And a good friend of mine did my wedding hair, and it really did make a difference to have that budgeted. And that confidence came out. And for sure, my husband noticed, like, he notices a lot more than you probably think. And just to have that little half updo and some makeup put on really helped him as well. So definitely budget that. And I can work with budgets as well.
Something I wanted to talk about to circle back to, and you were talking about even confidence now with you on your wedding day. When you mentioned that you work with boudoir clients, and I know that that's such a tremendously important thing for that too. And I know like Jamie Buckley is one that we've had on the podcast, that he's a photographer that does a lot of, male and female boudoir, but having that makeup artist along with that to really help kind of walk the client, because it is a stressful, scary, right, situation to go through, and having someone like you that can make them feel as confident as possible. Do you want to talk anything else about that, about the boudoir aspect? Because that, I know makeup artists and we talk about weddings all the time, but just even in the last couple of years, I just know that that's become a big selling point that,
Yes.
makeup artists,
Yeah, absolutely. Boudoir is actually one of my favorite makeup places to be. Women come in a t-shirt, sweats, getting ready for the day. They're nervous, and I sit them in my chair. I give them a drink, some water, coffee. I give them a magazine. I'm like, hey, just chill out. This day is for you. We're going to do some pampering. I put some music on. I help them feel a little bit more comfortable and confident in themselves. I ask them questions. I don't like doing makeup in silence. Like, it's very awkward for me. So I like to have a conversation going, music in the background. That helps a lot with the boudoir and the confidence. And when they see themselves, I don't let them look. I don't let them look at themselves. They tell me, hey, I like these colors. I ask them what colors you want to stay away from. I think that's the biggest thing. And the finished look, you can just see it in their eyes, like, wow, I am gorgeous. I am ready for this. And I know even a lot of photographers will help them feel as comfortable as they can. Boudoir can be pretty much anything you want. It can be very sensual, really classy. Like, I have modeled for some boudoir before, and it is a lot of fun. It is so much fun to just kind of get out there and be yourself.
Yeah, I think it's I knew very little about it, and through the podcast and getting to talk with people that have, done it and photographed it. It really is, it doesn't even need to be like a sexual thing. It could just be an empowering, just like, this is capturing me and how I feel. And yeah, I think that, having someone like you with not only the skills with the makeup, but also that personality to really set them at ease, I think is tremendously important to getting successful, stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. And it really does help them to have somebody they're comfortable with. Like, if I'm not the person that you want to be comfortable with, that's fine. Go find another makeup artist that you click with. I'm definitely not biased in that way. But like, you got to pick me, whatever. I really want them to feel confident in who they're hiring for that. And ask them a lot of questions. If you're booking, ask all the questions, no question unturned. I'm totally willing to just sit down on the phone, via Zoom, Messenger, whatever you want, and ask me a bunch of questions about myself, who I am, and I can do the same for you as well. Kind of get to know each other.
I think that's a great point that we, on my other wedding planning, on the Best Made Weddings podcast, we do a lot of roundtables talking about various topics. And recently we did photographers and what should you know when you're hiring a photographer. And I thought the conversation would go a lot more into like looking at portfolios and photos and things. But it was a lot more about hiring someone that you mesh with, right? Hiring someone that's personality. And I think the same is said, so much so for a makeup artist who is going to be one of the first people you see on your wedding day, and is going to be in front of your face for a large portion of the day. How do you kind of approach that with your clients and making sure that it's a good fit?
I just like to say, hey, I want to appreciate you for reaching out to me. Let's get to know each other a little bit, see if we're a good match. Most of the time, I get a lot of clients that are like, hey, can you work with budgets? Or, that really determines a lot if people are going to reach out to me. Getting to know them, who they are, how they met their significant other, just kind of talking about their wedding a little bit, reassuring them that, the planner's doing all that they can and it's going to be a beautiful day, just kind of having that conversation. I also am just like, if you are not feeling that vibe with me, if you want to, take some time, think about it, talk to other vendors, my feelings are not going to be hurt. Like, I want you to feel confident in who you're hiring. And I think that's pretty much just what I like to say, just flat out on the table. If I'm not the person for you, don't feel bad because it's ultimately up to you.
Are there certain types of clients that you feel like you connect more with? I mean, I hate to say like the ideal client, but like it is more just that you know that it's going to be a cohesive relationship.
I haven't really experienced any like butting heads or just like I don't really want to do this. Like I've never really had that. I'm pretty easygoing. I really like to like talk to them, go to their like see their venue, see their address, what they're doing, and really just try to get to know them. I know wedding season is extremely stressful for a lot of people, and personalities can change a little bit during that stress. So I always try to step back and say, hey, she's stressed out. How can I help her today? How can I help her feel confident and beautiful during this process? Even though I'm not putting makeup on her face yet, how can I reassure her that things are going good?
What does your day of kind of look like? How do you approach that with the clients and their weddings? Like I said, I know that it's so undervalued sometimes just how much the makeup, like I said, the first one there, you're going to be, with them the whole time. How do you try to make that getting ready feel a certain way? I mean, obviously being friendly and outgoing. I mean, how do you kind of approach that to make it be as fun as possible?
A lot of times it's really just getting them to calm down. The last like couple weddings I've done, the bride is coming in like, is everything ready? Is everything's done? Is everything here? Like, all right, let's calm down, sit in the chair, have some coffee, eat breakfast is the biggest thing. Eat some food. Like I should pack like granola bars or something, be like, you need to eat something. It's just really important for them to realize that they hired the best in the business for what their wedding needs. And I really just want them to feel at ease. I don't want them to stress over it. I want them to see what I'm putting on their face. I want them to hear some calming music or some fun music, whatever, their vibe is. I just want them to be able to sit down, breathe, and say, okay, this is my wedding day. It's going to go fantastic. I don't care if a napkin is out of place. I don't care, little things like that don't matter because it's ultimately about the two getting married and feeling gorgeous.
When you got into doing makeup, going to school, things like that, and then wanting to obviously start your own business, right, and do it this way, any learning curves in that? Any lessons? Anything maybe that you thought would be harder that wasn't, or easier that wasn't?
Absolutely. I have never owned my own business. This is my first go around in the whole business industry. I am learning a lot. Like I have a lot of photographer friends, a lot of planner friends in the business already, and they're more than happy to just be like, hey, I want to give you some advice. And I love taking that advice and applying it into my business. Like being organized, I'm not the biggest at organization, but I am learning to be because it's really important in this industry to know, who's paid full balances, what times I need to be at the venue, all of that. And just taking it and grabbing it by the horns and going.
Yeah, that's been even as someone that I would like to pride myself as being somewhat organized, but just even lately with all the reschedules and postponements and who's paid what or who added what on or what did we talk about? We had we have a wedding coming up here at like the first week of May. And they postponed from like last September. I'm like, okay, what did we talk about back then? And I realize I'm like trying to I'm pouring back through these emails like, man, okay, I'm so glad I at least have like a paper trail here that I can somewhat go back to because it is so hard when a lot of it's verbal now. It's like, no, we got to write it down because otherwise I'm going to forget, what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. I'm that way too. I was like, all right, what time do I need to be there? Go back in my emails, go back in my files, be like, okay, now I can put it on my calendar for the exact time I need to be there and schedule all that.
What do you, this is just an easy way to ask it, but what do you get when you wake up in the morning and you're getting ready to go to a wedding or go to an event? What gets you the most excited and pumped up about it?
It all. I love weddings. I love traveling. I think that's my favorite part. So just getting in the car, getting some coffee, driving to the venue, listening to some good music, kind of hyping myself up, really thinking about the bride, how I can help reassure her. And it's just, I love it all. There's not really one aspect I love more than just getting there, seeing my bride, seeing her confident and beautiful for her wedding day. Like, oh, it just brings me so much joy. I love it.
Has there been any pivots or adjustments you've had to make in the last, 6 to 9 months with everything going on and just business wise or day of or anything that you're proud of that you maybe, pivoted or added on or changed?
Yes, I've had to learn to utilize social media a lot more than I usually do. Um, Facebook, Instagram, the whole deal, that's pretty much where my clientele are coming from now. Just because everybody is spending so much time on social media, they want to ask all the questions on social media, that whole thing. I love getting on the phone and actually talking to people. I know I'm weird, right? That's never happening. But if somebody's reaching out, be like, hey, can we schedule a time, 10-15 minutes where I can just chat with you, kind of feel your vibe, see, you can see if we're a good fit. I think the social media aspect has really helped me know the do's and don'ts of what to do on social media and how to handle that in a business.
Is it hard? We talk a lot on here, people, just because you're like a good florist, right, doesn't mean that, right, you're a good business person, right? And like, I think I'm maybe a better business person than I am videographer, right? I mean, everyone has pros and cons to everything. Is it hard? How do you manage that as a solo entrepreneur? Learning these things, learning social media, learning to do bookkeeping and client management, all these things. How do you learn and balance through that? Because I do ask a lot of people on here, kind of how do they manage all that?
Well, right now, I just kind of watch YouTube videos on, especially hair, because I'm not a cosmetologist. I've never taken any of those courses, but I do love playing with hair. And so I'm like, I don't know. I never do anything with my own hair, so apologize if it's a crazy rat. But I do basic hairstyles for my clients on all of that. So it's more of just like getting in there, YouTube, trying things out, finding friends who will be like, hey, can I play with your hair? Things like that. So it's just really fun. I actually just started up Fearfully Made internship. So I have quite a few girls on board with me that come to weddings and will do hair while I do makeup. They're fantastic. I absolutely love them. I trust them fully with what we're doing. They're extremely talented. Like, oh my goodness gracious, I can't even imagine. But I think that's where it is. Growing my team has been really on the forefront of my mind, finding people that, can do hair while I'm doing makeup, or maybe have a nail tech come along and do a pedicure, something fun and relaxing, and just growing that business. I do it solo if I need to. I'm confident in that, no issues have come up, nor do I expect any issues to come up. But it's just really trying to find time to do a little bit more training for myself.
That's interesting when you talk about growth and all of that. What excites you about that expansion and adding on, just being able to provide more services for your clients? I mean, because not everybody, some people are just happy doing, their thing. So where does that motivation come from to do that growth?
Yes, I love going solo. I love doing what I do by myself, but I get lonely on car rides. So I love having my intern come with me. We can chat in the car, have a good time. I just want to be able to provide the best experience for my clients, whether that is me or not. Like, that's really ultimately their choice. But for my business, I want to be able to have a team of people. So if I personally am not available for one date, yet somebody else on my team is, I can still provide that with confidence.
So I guess that's a good question then. So when you look at, Fearfully Made Makeup and you're going to be adding on and expanding that, what do you want that from a look standpoint, or from like a feeling standpoint, from a client, experience standpoint, what do you want that to look like when you're moving that brand across and wanting everybody to go, if it's through your team?
I think the biggest thing is how they feel about it. Because a lot of things are really how people feel about things. If they're really not happy about it, they're not going to go back for services. I am confident in all the makeup we can do. I can do prosthetics. I do special effects. Like, I do it all. I was trained in that. I'm certified for that. I just want them to be able to feel like they can come to me and know they're going to get the best.
That's interesting, the special effects background. And I know I saw a little bit on your website about that. What, talk me through any of that, because that is interesting and fascinating.
It is so much fun. I think like off wedding season, I get to like kind of dabble in that a little bit more through like Halloween and Christmas and things like that. I get to kind of expand my special effects portfolio. I like the light side of makeup where people feel gorgeous and beautiful. I also like the dark side of makeup where they're like, cool, I'm a zombie with blood dripping out of my mouth. Like, it is so much fun to be able to use like liquid latex. I can use prosthetics to create elven ears and noses and scars and all things like that. It is just so much fun to be able to have that wide variety. Maybe someday somebody wants to have like a zombie themed wedding and they need a makeup artist to come do like stars and stuff all over their bridal party. Like, I can do that.
Yeah. Do you get a kick around Halloween season just with your own family and everything?
Oh yeah. Yep. My boys love it when I can like turn them into Captain America and Spider-Man and all of that. Like, my husband during the time of Halloween, he's like, "You're a glorified face painter." I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
No, it's fun that some of we haven't had too many like Halloween weddings, but it is fun to do. We had a Halloween wedding this year that was on Halloween that was specifically not Halloween themed, and I was like,
"Oh, that's great."
But we've had some with like the black lipstick and the black dress and stuff. But it's a very cool, I would say, of any of the themed ones to do. If you're going to do a themed wedding, I do think a Halloween one you can have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Yep. The Halloween ones would be like right up my alley. I get giddy thinking about it. I did at the beginning of April. My bride specifically was like, "Hey, we're having a pirate mermaid theme." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great." So I actually put some scales on the side for her contour and all that. She fell in love. I had a blast. It was a great way to kick off the wedding season.
Yeah, I would say it is. You would be surprised how much your vendors get excited by something that's out of the norm, whatever that is. And I do think having a theme of any kind, is something that you can really have a lot of fun with if you're creative with the photos and the video and the makeup. I mean, it really does help kind of spicing that up a little bit.
It does. It spices things up and it turns out really beautiful.
Talking about your kids and family before we let you go today, round out the conversation with that. What do you do when you're not doing the makeup and special effects and stuff? I know you guys live down south, right? What's your family and what do you guys do for fun?
Well, my boys are crazy. They love being outside. So we go on walks. They like to ride their bikes. I just really like to be family oriented. My boys are homeschooled. So on top of running a business, I'm homeschooling my boys. So I'm a little busy in that area during the week. But we love going on adventures. We like going hiking, going down to the ocean. Like, we're just super outdoorsy, really family oriented. And having my husband be able to like have weekends off, we can go and, take our truck up Mount Rainier and just have a lot of fun that way. My boys are super crazy. Did I mention that? They're crazy and they have a lot of energy. I get a lot tired during the day, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Being able to run my business from my home has been the biggest blessing for us over the past like 2.5 years.
Well, and also, being able to homeschool and spend a lot of time with your kids and family and really be able to see all aspects of it. I guess, well, it's certainly safer right now with the homeschool. Talk about I'm just curious about that and building that community and with your family and everything. What's that been like the last, movie? I know you guys moved and then had the kids and stuff here. What's it been like building that community for your family down south?
It hasn't been super difficult. When I moved over here to Paulsbo, it's just our community here is so nice. Like we're in Kitsap County, so we have, the sound, we have the ocean on one side. Like we really can connect with a lot of people. I love social media and I hate social media. Like when I moved up here, that's pretty much how I gained friendships in the area. I joined some local community groups and met some moms. So we get connected together, have play dates with our kids. And it's just really fun. I love being able to take the boys to the park, getting to see them socialize with other kids. So it's not like we're like stuck at home. I like to go places and do things with them.
Well, great. This has been so fun. I'm so glad that we got to get hooked up and set up this talk. Is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that we cover before we let you go today about anything that you do with your team?
No, I think we're good. I mean, we're pretty versatile, can really do pretty much anything, and it's a blast. And I appreciate you so much, Reed, for reaching out as well and taking the time to chat. And I love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, well, I know, and we said before we recorded, personalities with vendors is so important nowadays, and that's something that I think even more so now, and with just dealing with all the craziness, and you got to have people that that you can vibe with for your wedding day, and that you can work through.
Absolutely, yeah,
crazy stuff. So no, I appreciate it, and especially makeup artists, people that are there day of. You're dealing with them in your face. I think getting to know who these people are, is tremendously valuable. So no, I appreciate that. If people want to learn more about you and check out your social media and website and everything, where would you have them go?
So my Facebook page is Fearfully Made Makeup, and you'll see I have my big logo up on there on the screen. Instagram is also Fearfully Made Makeup, super original. And then my email, if you want to reach out email wise, Mindy@fearfullymademakeup.com. My website, obviously, fearfullymademakeup.com. There's a connect form you can fill out. I can reach out to you if you have any questions. Absolutely. Like if you contact me through any of these, no obligation at all. If you're just wanting to have questions answered, wanting, price list, all of that, absolutely no obligation. I want you to feel confident in who you're choosing as your makeup artist. And the first person you see when you arrive at your venue, you want somebody who's going to be really happy to see you and really help you feel beautiful and confident for the day. So those are pretty much my platforms. I am starting a little bit on TikTok. I'm not all that, technological on TikTok yet, but I'm getting there.
We're moving on it. There. Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again. I appreciate it. This has been another episode of Get to Know Your Wedding Pro. If you're like Mindy and you're interested in coming on the podcast, you can go to bestmadevideos.com/podcast guest. And that's a nice and easy questionnaire to fill out, and we can start working on getting you in. Thank you so much again, and check back next week for another wedding vendor interview. Thanks so much.